Well, the financial system of 1799 was very, very different to the financial system that we have today, because we have a system today. Back then, they didn't really have a system. Everything was very ad hoc. Everybody traded in coffee shops, for one thing. They didn't have exchanges. I mean, we didn't have the New York Stock Exchange until the 1820s. So you had this situation where people would just get together and trade. And so everything was done on sort of a nudge and a wink, and your personal relationships with people. Prices were not transparent in the way they are today. I mean, today you can find out what the price of a stock just by reading a newspaper or turning on the TV. Of course, then they didn't have that level of transparency. You didn't know what was going on in a company, if you were going to invest in that company, because there were no rules. It required the company to actually be transparent about what was going on. There were three main types of investments that you had then. You had shares issued by banks, because they were really the only people that were issuing shares. You had bonds issued by the government. And then, of course, you had all of the other things that people were shipping into New York. So you could trade in barrels of pork or ship loads of cotton or whatever it was. So those were the main types of investments. So very different to today, not least because today we have a system that's got a bunch of regulations around it and rules of how you trade and what you have to do. Back then, there were no rules at all. Everybody was really sort of just trusted to do the right thing, which frankly didn't work out that often.